NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championship.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the University of Arkansas and the mecca of indoor track and field. This is time for the NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. Welcome, everybody. I'm Stacy Pates. I have two coaches with me right now, and, you know, we could not begin this meet at all without a special, very special welcome home to Texas head coach Beverly Kearney. Now, she is 17 years in coaching and 31 times has been named National Conference and District Coach of the Year. To my left, this is Coach Dana Boone. She's been stepping in as coach. Kearney has been recovering from an automobile accident that's left her paralyzed and in the hospital, and she came home for the very first time in 3 months on Friday. Coach Boone, what was your reaction to her attitude after this accident, and how has the team benefited from that?
It's not really surprising to see Bev's attitude. She's the same through this situation as she is in day-to-day life. She's a survivor, a succeeder, and that's exactly how she's attacking this rehab from her accident.
Although she's not been able to attend any practices or any meets, has she at all stopped coaching?
She's never stopped coaching from day one, and actually she has been to 3 or 4 practices since the accident, and she's still running this show, and she's very much in charge, and the girls have responded.
LaGwen Durden, this is the head trainer for the women's track team at Texas. Now, you were the first person that Coach called. What was her mood like? What was her reaction when she called you?
Her reaction was one of disbelief, but Bev is a fighter and has always been a fighter. She's tried to instill in everyone, even through this, that regardless of your success and failure, you still have to fight to obtain the goals that you set for yourself.
And if you cannot be inspired by this story, then there's something wrong with you. Jack Edwards and Larry Rawson, doctors are in shock that she's already on a quick road to recovery. She's way ahead of the game, but no one at the University of Texas is surprised.
Stacy, thank you, and certainly we send along our best wishes to Bev. She'll be watching this race very closely with Rayson McIntosh in lane 1, and next to her, her teammate Nicole Denby. Both are juniors for UT.
They'll be running in lanes 1 and 2, Jack.
This is the final of the women's 60-meter hurdles. The American record, 774 by Gail Devers. 790 might be reachable because we call your attention to lane 4. Perdita Felicienne of Illinois, who ran a 797 earlier this year.
She is the defending champion here and has had a great collegiate career running for the University of Illinois. She is favored. She'll be in lane 4.
A lot of tension in the arena as the athletes get into the blocks.
Jack, big first event for LSU for Coach Pat Henry and sprint coach Dennis Shaver. They're hoping for good performances here. The dashes are where South Carolina, Florida, LSU hope to score a lot of their points along with Texas.
10 points to each team for a win, 8 points for second place, 6 points for third, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 down to 8th. Clean start. Lolo Jones out in front. Danielle Carruthers coming on from Indiana. Jones at the tape, I think.
Big upset if that's Jones. It is definitely not Perdita Felicienne, who's the defending champion here and was expected by most people to win this race. The young lady in the middle from Orange, from Illinois in the orange. And there you see she looks like she gets third. And it may be Jones. Very hard to separate the two. Carruthers was second last year.
8 flat the winning time. It is Lolo Jones, and she is down in the infield with our Stacy Pates. Stacy.
Lolo Jones, you had such stiff competition. Perdita was the reigning champion. She came back. What is your feeling right now as you crossed that finish line and you knew that you were the girl?
Words cannot describe it. I waited so long, and I'm like, just try to keep plugging away and not to give up. Oh, I'm so happy right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lolo Jones puts the Tigers on top. 8 seconds flat the winning time. Danielle Carruthers of Indiana second, and the favorite going in, Felicienne, at 8:04 in third place. This is what they're fighting for. Points for their teams. 10 points to LSU for that opening victory in the women's 60 hurdles. John McDonnell, the legendary coach for Arkansas, 5 times the Triple Crown winner for cross-country indoor and outdoor in the same year. Michael Thomas goes to the men's 60-meter hurdles finals when we come back.
If it didn't have so much style, it'd be just like any other midsize car. The L300 from Saturn.
Who makes salads fresh all day, every day with luscious mandarin oranges, juicy chicken, ripe grape tomatoes, grated cheese, sliced almonds, and roasted pecans on beds of fresh greens? Wendy's, of course. It's better here.
You know, we're never in the same place at the same time. No, not really. So we need a plan that allows us to talk, you know, as much as we want, all the time, whenever we want. And then no extra charge.
With Singular's Family Talk plan, call each other for free with unlimited mobile-to-mobile calling. Get 5,000 night and weekend minutes to share, up to 3 additional lines, and up to 4 free phones.
We call it the Conley Brothers. What's up? What's up? What's up plan?
Come in and find out how Singular fits you best.
The 2003 NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships are brought to you by Saturn, makers of the View, redesigned L Series, and the all-new Ion. This one will be over in about 8 seconds. The men's 60-meter hurdles, Greg Foster's American record still standing 16 years later, 7:36. The NCAA meet record, the great Terrence Trammell of South Carolina set it in 1999.
Jack, there you see the lane assignments. Some of the best athletes in all of college are right here in your screen. They are great sprinters. They're great long jumpers. Some of them can high jump. They're great hurdles. It needs all of those things to be good enough to make an NCAA final like this.
In lane 5 from Texas A&M.
Chris Pinnock, a senior from Texas A&M.
He had the fastest qualifying time and ran very, very well in his heats, did Pinnock, and he ran 7.64 seconds, and that's close to Terrence Trammell type stuff.
Jabari Greer, just a sophomore.
And Greer, a star, no less, on the football team for the Tennessee Vols, and a 25-foot long jumper, and he looked terrific in his heats.
And we told you about Michael Thomas. He ran a 7.72 in the prelims, qualifying 5th. There's less than a quarter of a second separating this entire 8-man field.
Keep an eye on this young man from Arkansas. He was rated tops in high school, the #1 ranked high school. There he is to the right of the screen that you're seeing. He is in lane 2. But sometimes if he hits a hurdle early, he gets out of sync and can't get back in. It's something that maybe the team will worry about here as they have their quest out to win this NCAA title, does Arkansas.
Got to look at Ken Ferguson, the freshman from South Carolina, running out in lane 8 on the far left side of your screen. 2 Gamecocks out there, Corey Taylor and Ken Ferguson.
Coach Curtis Fry, known there for great hurdlers that he trains, including Olympic champion Alan Johnson. There you see the size of the hurdles. Men's hurdles right now 3 feet 6 inches tall that these guys are going to go out and climb.
Brad Walker of Washington will be the next vaulter.
You know, it's funny how life improves finally. Years ago in England, when the first track meet was put together that had hurdle races, they used sheep barriers.
Hurdle final. Quiet for the start, please.
Thank God we've made some improvements here.
Greer in orange in lane 4. To his left. Greer is out. Shamar Sands with a good jump. Greer powering to the line. I think he got there first.
Well, he's just a sophomore, all of 5 feet 10 inches, 175 pounds. Jabari Greer wins an NCAA championship title as just a college sophomore. He's a psychology major, and he did figure this race out very successfully. Watch him get out well. He powered out. He got to the first hurdle well. Watch him right now. Watch to see whose leg's over first. It is certainly Greer up with the leaders right now, and it is Greer holding on. Notice when the trail leg hits, it doesn't always slow you down, and it didn't slow him down enough to make a difference. 7.55 seconds for Jabari Greer in winning the title, very close to the NCAA meet record by Terrence Trammell set here 4 years ago of 7.52 seconds.
Let's send it down to Stacy.
Thanks, Jack. Jabari Greer, what were your concerns going into this race?
Just doing 100%, you know. I had to focus on my racing, give everything I had to my teammates and my family.
Congratulations. Go enjoy your victory lap.
Thank you, thank you.
The best time run in the NCAA this year, Jabari Greer's victorious time in the 60-meter hurdles final, 7:55. It was Shamar Sands, the freshman from Auburn, just 400ths back, and Pinnock from Texas A&M, third.
Only one state in the Union has supported high school hammer throwing. That state is Rhode Island. That's where Jacob Freeman comes from. They call him Thomas. His real name is Jacob, he says. And he, on the first throw in the preliminaries, got the 35-pound weight out, 71 feet 2.5 inches, to set up a lot of pressure on everybody else in his flight. Drew Lofton into the finals. The final 8 out of 17 competitors hurled the 35-pound weight out into second place. And the man from Colorado State would wind up holding that position. Jacob Freeman wins for the Jaspers of Manhattan, the 35-pound weight throw. Dan Taylor, who had one of the longest throws in the country, wound up for Ohio State in third place. Some of America's greatest athletes in history have been long jumpers. Jesse Owens to Ralph Boston to Bob Beamon, Carl Lewis and Mike Powell. Does this man have a chance to join them someday? His talent is unbelievable. You're looking at Brian Johnson, a senior at Southern. He took the lead with a jump of 27 feet 2 inches. Frank Toland was up on the runway, but the pressure was on him with that great longer than 27-foot jump by Johnson. 26, 6 1/4 for Toland, moves him into second place. But Brian Johnson was a basketball player for years, 3.5 years at Southern, just converting full-time to being a track athlete. What a future.
There's much more to come at the 2003 NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. Jabari Greer already has won his event. Muna Lee, heavily favored to take hers. What a burner. Stay with us. We'll be back to Fayetteville in a minute.
You're a great mom. You're beautiful and you're smart and you work so hard.
Billy, would you like me to call your mom and see if you can stay for dinner?
If you insist.
Introducing the Cinemeal Deal. Any large Pizza Hut pizza, America's favorite, with up to 3 toppings, just $11.99. Plus a generous order of our new freshly baked cinnamon sticks absolutely free. The $11.99 Cinemeal Deal. Spoil your family, not your budget.
You're powerful, smart.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
At Pizza Hut.
Think. Read. React. Struggle.
Succeed. Grow.
Every time we step on the floor, class is in session.
There are 360,000 NCAA student athletes.
And each one of us is getting 2 educations.
It's a world of untouched beaches and sun-drenched tranquility. But this March 13th, that will all change. Girls Gone Wild Spring Break live and uncensored. Anything can happen when Girls Gone Wild hits the world's hottest spring break destinations. Join our celebrity judges in crowning the first Miss Girls Gone Wild and plan to be surprised. Don't miss the hottest spring break live TV event ever. Order Girls Gone Wild Spring Break live and uncensored. Thursday, March 13th, 10 p.m. live on in-demand pay-per-view. Contains nudity and sexual situations. Parental discretion is strongly advised.
Who can turn the world on with a smile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. Love is all around, no need to waste it. You can have the time, why don't you take it?
The best way out is by coming in. Going to family learning programs helps you and your family lead better lives. Call 1-877-FAMLET-1 because making it after all shouldn't just happen on TV.
It's a packed house at the Randall Tyson Track Center, and nobody is out buying popcorn for the women's 200-meter dash final. The American record, 22:33 by Gwen Torrance. The NCAA meet record, well, it's brand new. Muna Lee set it in the prelims.
The paint hasn't dried. And that is the NCAA record, the 8th fastest time ever run in the world for 200 meters indoors by a junior in college.
Sensational field, and Muna Lee ran the 22:49, and she was cruising. Had a tremendous start out of the outside lane, and it was never even close.
One of the most sought-after high school runners coming out of Kansas City was she. And there is a woman who was the female athlete of the year last year. That is Sonia Richards. And her best event really is the 400, but she's terrific at this event as well. And you'll be hearing a lot from her in coming years.
But all eyes are on Muna Lee as they go to the blocks.
Jack, we should comment here. You get an indoor running on the 200 meters based on how fast you go in the earlier heats. You get to choose lane 5 or 6 based on whether you finish first or second. As you look at Richards, she's on the outside in lane 6. They're at a high level here, so that the athletes who are running in this race inside of them are at a lower level, meaning they're up high already. When they come off the first turn, they're running downhill. And then they go up an embankment, then down an embankment. So they get the advantage of starting at a higher point, and it helps their time. Lee is lean and thin and just a greyhound by comparison of the great, beautiful strides. You watch her run. Watch her. She's just a whippet. She's so fast. Many sprinters are powerful and strong, and she's lean.
As they go to the blocks, what's going through her mind? Do you not want to set a record in a prelim for fear that you can't equal that in the final?
Good question. I don't know the answer. She really went out and left, no question, just an hour ago in the heat here. By the way, there are no false starts allowed in NCAA competition. If you false start, you're gone from the race. Huge points for your team for LSU if she false starts.
The gun is up. Clean start.
That's her in blue.
Springs to the front again. Already making up the stagger on Sonia Richards. Muna Lee ran a 22:49 in the prelim, and she is blowing away with the women's 200 meters. Muna Lee of LSU running against the clock. She's going to be the champion in 22:61. Unofficially, another sensational time. Just 12/100ths slower than her all-time collegiate record set in the prelim.
Look at her power down the home stretch. She just holds her form. You youngsters at home, use your arms like she's doing to lift your body when your legs are tired. Great job, Muna Lee, defending her NCAA championship title.
Let's meet her.
Muna, how risky was it for you to come out so fast in the preliminaries? Did you think you could match that in this race?
I mean, it's better to run fast first and see what you can do. So I just went out and did what I had to do.
Against this field, were you surprised at all that you could still pull out the win?
Yeah, I was real, because I had a lot of competition.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Muna Lee, plenty of class, and what a race. 22:61 ahead of Sonia Richards and Rochelle Boone of Indiana third. Here's a look at the women's high jump.
Well, she came in the 3rd seed here with the 3rd highest jump of the competition of the athletes, coming at 6 feet 1/2 inch. But this proved to be Nevena Lendl from SMU's day. And she is thrilled as she soars over the bar, clearing over 6 feet 2 1/4 inches. And of course, you might as well do it to music here when you talk to your coach, Jack. Up and over, it's that simple. Here's her attempt at 6 feet 3 1/2 inches. Not quite, but a great day and a happy SMU female Mustang NCAA champion, Nevena Lendl. Alexandria Church had a great day also at 6'1 1/2". Gina Rickard wound up getting 3rd place and an All-American status. This young lady was the class of high school shot put competition her last couple of years in high school in New Hampshire. Now at the University of North Carolina as a freshman, Laura Garrity came into the competition having thrown over 57 feet. Jillian Camarena had a superb day, and on her third throw in the finals, blasted one out over 57 feet using the glide technique, not the spin, to wind up getting second. Laura Garrity, a personal best by almost 2 feet, winning the NCAA shot put championships. Congratulations, University of North Carolina Tar Heels pick up 10 big points here as they seek to move up in their quest for NCAA ranking. Katie O'Neill forged and pushed the pace much of the day with her twin sister right beside her. But on the gun lap, it was Sarah Gorton, the NCAA 5,000-meter outdoor champion, who had the sprint finish, and she soared to a terrific time, 15 minutes and 39 seconds for 5,000 meters, as she was running close to 5-minute mile pace for 3.1 miles. Katie O'Neill wound up second, and Alicia Craig, the young freshman from Stanford, wound up getting third place for Vin Lanana's Stanford Distance Corps.
Leo Bookman, the Kansas monster, is up next.
Hey, Fayetteville, how you doing?
How you doing, Stu?
Good. 9 strong innings last night.
Thank you.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship begins Saturday on ESPN.
Do you know what unlimited means in the neighborhood? It means you can call your brother in Toledo for 2 minutes. And your mother in San Diego for 2 hours. And the pizza guy down the street right now. And every call is the same. Call anyone in the country, talk as long as you want, as often as you want, for one low monthly price. Rack 'em up, people.
Get 50% off your first month in the neighborhood. Call 1-800-JOIN-MCI before May 1st.
Steal, down the middle, 1-on-1. Did you see what I see? Because I saw a robbery. Does anybody want a Coke? Yeah, we get up, man. Hey, you crazy, man? That's Corinthian leather. And use the footstool to get to the refrigerator. I'm running all over y'all like a treadmill. Oh, I am the greatest. I'm the greatest. Can't stop it. It's bad hot. I'm telling you. I'm just super nice in it, you know? That's all. When you nice, right? That's like a dish down. That's all.
You got the love, we got the shoe. The New Balance 771, only at Foot Locker.
Fortified for the hunt, the male uses an unspoken language. Attractive females to your rear. Shall I have a gander? Patience? How about now? No. Now. Proceed. Yowza. Indeed. Shall we? We shall. And off they set, despite depressingly poor odds.
Grab a rock.
The University of Arkansas is not only famous for its great track and field and cross-country programs, but also for its academic standing. Old Main is the centerpiece of campus life. Recently refurbished, it is an American landmark. Alongside Larry Rawson, I'm Jack Edwards. Well, the women's side seems to be LSU's to lose at this point. Muna Lee has, without a doubt, been the female star of this meet so far.
Jack, you're very right. Last year, the U.S. Track and Field Collegiate Association named her the finest female track and field athlete in America. She was only a sophomore. She has continued that great tradition that she showed last year here with sterling performances. She's not done. She's got the 60 meters to come, and I think LSU's in the driver's seat for the women's title again.
On the men's side, there's a fight for the steering wheel because Arkansas was supposed to be driving this train. However, there was the equivalent of the Roy Regal's wrong way run in the distance medley relay. Poor Michael Taylor, he miscounted the laps. put in the jet on the next to last lap, thinking he was running to the wire, and still had to leg it around 200 meters more. Went from 4th and possibly 5 points to 9th and out of the points. That could be costly for the Hogs.
Poor Michael. Someone handed him a piano on that last lap. You talk about 1,000 deaths. He staggered to the finish line, fell down to the ground. Coach McDonald almost did the same thing. When he realized what was happening, I talked to someone beside him. He bent over, put his elbows on his knees, buried his face in his hands. But today, you know, things at this juncture, I think, are better for him. He has a top runner in the mile coming up. He also has top athletes in the 3,000 meters. You're going to see some talent left in this Arkansas team. They're still favored to win.
The 2003 men's 200-meter dash final at the NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. The NCAA meet record set a couple of years ago. Crawford and Capel running 20:26.
All right, you know how they used to say, attention Kmart shoppers? Remember how they used to do that? All right, it's different here. They're saying attention professional football scouts. You got to watch this guy, Leo Bookman, right there. He is huge. This guy is just a junior, plays football for Kansas, and he can run like virtually nobody in college. He is the odds-on favorite for the 200 meters here. A huge guy. Wait till you see him fly. And here's an interesting story. He and his twin brother, Ashton, tried to make the finals here. Aaron did. They're freshman stars. They've got a great crop of freshmen at the University of Texas. These are one of about 5. This person you're looking at, this is brother Aaron, who has made the final.
To tell you how well Bookman ran in the prelims, the numbers 2, 3, and 4 seeds in the final are separated by 0.05 of a second over 200 meters in their qualifying times. Bookman is a full 0.2 ahead of all 3 of them.
That's about at that speed, 3 yards, Jack, 9 feet.
There is Bookman, who ran a season best by 0.13 in the prelim.
20.64 seconds for half a lap around your outdoor football field, or track rather. There he is in red in lane 5.
And Bookman already is leaning down the hill. He's opening it up on the stagger. Latano Williams is outside him, but Bookman owns this race as he comes off the turn. Leo Bookman pouring it on and winning in 20:54.
And for head coach Stanley Redwine, he's got a happy NCAA champion. 20.53 seconds. Terrific time for 200 meters indoors.
Correcting downward by 100th of a second. 20.53 Bookman's time, and he wins the final by 0.18 of a second.
You football, basketball, baseball coaches out there, please listen to my point. This is the sport that will help all of your athletes get better. They'll run faster, be stronger, jump higher, have more stamina. This is the training ground. Coach Butch Davis said, when I had Edgerrin James, he said he wasn't as fast as I thought he should be. I'm a former track coach in high school. I had him run outdoors. He said he was never caught from behind his last year at Miami, and this man is proving it as he dips to the line at 20.53 of a second. Leo Bookman is a football player to be reckoned with that type of speed. Our congratulations for a brilliant performance here at the NCAAs. The men's pole vault, 16 qualifiers arrived here at the University of Arkansas, having reached standards to qualify for this pole vault. By the time the bar was at 18 feet 3 1/4 inches, only a couple of competitors were even trying, led by this man, Brad Walker, who was the nation's top returning collegiate pole vaulter last year. He is still a junior. The bar kept rising. This was his attempt at 19 feet 1/4 inch. And he soars over brilliantly, the 4th highest pole vaulter in the world this year. Here is Walker trying 19 feet 2 3/4 inch. And he winds up having still a terrific day here as he dominates the men's pole vault, winning easily by over 8 inches.
Brad Walker from the University of Washington, you cleared 19 feet. Where does this victory rank for you?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it puts me up with Derek Miles, who's also jumped 580. He did that at Reno this past January, I believe it was.
I'm talking about for you personally, Brad.
For me personally, it's been a goal of mine since the beginning of the season. I mean, it's been a long-time goal. You know, coming in this season after having a good season last year, placing second, jumping 18-6 at NCAA's outdoors there. You know, this was a big benchmark that I wanted to hit, and I was just glad to come in here and be able to compete my best and get this mark.
And no better place to do that than the Randall Tyson Center.
We'll return to Fayetteville with more from the NCAA Track and Field Championships after this.
Epson T001, Canon BC31E.
Shopping for ink and toner in most stores is hit or miss.
HP C9720.
Come on.
A.
At Staples, we stock a huge selection of cartridges, so we guarantee we'll have the one you need. Online or in store, promise.
HP 45.
Bingo.
Your ink and toner in stock. Staples, that was easy.
Mom, where do salads come from?
Wendy's?
No, really.
Our Garden Sensation salads are so full of greens and fresh vegetables, you won't believe they're from Wendy's.
Well, when a chicken and a mandarin orange love each other very much, they make a salad.
No, they don't.
Bye.
Step away from the door. Step away from the door.
We're entertaining. I just offer some cheddar.
Ah, the power of
Cheese.
I swim the 200. I study sociology. I grind out laps. I cram for tests. I race nationals. I take finals. And when I finish, I'll be ready to start. There are 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and we're all training to perform in whatever we go on to do.
Less than 4 laps to go in the men's 5,000 meters. Boaz Chiboiwo of Eastern Michigan made his move to the front of the lead pack with about 8.5 laps to go. He's beginning to stretch it out a little bit on Richard Kiplagat of Iona, who is in second place. Then a couple of Arkansas runners, Craig and Lincoln, are third and fourth as they begin to lap slower runners.
Jack, this is a big, big moment. Everybody is standing here. 5,000, probably 4,000 people here from Friday night. And again, Alistair Craig has taken over the lead. He's had a brilliant indoor season. The young man who came from South Africa arrived here on campus and became an Irish citizen just a few months ago and has had a terrific season. Boaz Chiboiwo from Eastern Michigan is tailing him right now. Dan Lincoln in third place trying to hold on desperately. Let me correct that. Fourth place, third place is Kiplagat. But this is big points here for the team title. They need a big performance from Lincoln and from Craig, who's got the lead with 2 laps to go.
Chiboiwo has managed to stay with him. Nobody else can keep the pace. Kiplagat has dropped off. Then it goes back to Lincoln and Dawson.
Craig, Jack in the lead at the Adidas Boston Indoor Games earlier this year, defeated the Olympic champion. No, in the end, the 1,500-meter champion stepped up and raced Craig at 3,000 meters, and he beat him. This guy's got great speed, and he's very fit. Chiboiwo looks great holding on. They have left everybody else in the dust.
200 meters to go. It's Craig and Chiboiwo milling through the pack of lapped runners.
The first mile at 4:22, the second mile at 4:30, the third mile very fast. We'll let you know later. And it's Craig and Chiboiwo in second, and people are roaring here.
They go to the kicks. Craig is turning it on. Chiboiwo trying to stay with him. Craig stretches it out with a great stride and eases across the line. 13:28.32 unofficially, corrected to 13:28.93. Alistair Craig gives the Razorbacks the victory in the 5,000 meters. Dawson edging out Kiplagat at the line.
And you know, that breaks the NCAA meet record by a full 8 seconds. Terrific performance, very comfortably done by Alistair Craig. And I mean, this guy ran about a 4:10 last mile unofficially, 4:11 somewhere in there, just cruising along. Just terrific talent here. It's just stunning NCAA championship competition.
Although his teammates couldn't go with him, Alistair Craig brings home 10 points for Arkansas, ahead of Boaz Cheboywa.
Alistair, great race for you. Did you successfully do everything you wanted to do throughout the course of the race?
It wasn't a race that I didn't want to lead it from the beginning, but I got stuck there and felt strong. And I knew I had my plan, when to go and everything. So it was just a matter of doing it. Boaz came by when I was feeling tired. But I dug deep when I started hurting, and it helped me, because when it came down to the kick, I forgot about how I felt, and my adrenaline in front of this crowd just kept me going.
And the pain was well worth it. Big points for Arkansas.
Thank you.
7 events into the 16-event men's competition. Arkansas has a narrow lead over Auburn and Tennessee. Stanford still in the hunt, as are 7 schools tied for 6th place with 10 points.
And Jack, in the women's distance medley, the University of North Carolina with a team of Erin Donahue, Anissa Gainey, Alice Schmidt, and this woman, Shalane Flanagan, running a 4-minute 36-mile anchor leg, wins the women's distance medley over a fine field in just over 11 minutes flat for the team title. They came within 1 second of the American collegiate record.
About halfway through the women's mile, in the lead, it is Tiffany McWilliams of Mississippi State, with Northern Arizona freshman Johanna Nilsson a stride behind.
Jack, the pace pretty slow. 2 minutes, 21 seconds plus, almost 2:22, 4:44 mile pace. These women can run close to 10 seconds faster. The ones in the lead, they're breaking away. The pace has picked up definitely with McWilliams up there, and Nielsen, the freshman from Arizona and Northern Arizona, and Sweden in 2nd place.
There is a 15-yard gap between the 2 front runners and the pack, and again it is McWilliams and Nilsson, and then Worth, Bevins, Inman, and the runner from Providence College, Royce McGettigan.
And the woman in the lead right now, Tiffany McWilliams, comes from that huge booming track capital of America, Red Bay, Alabama. And she is just really scorching the track here, had a terrific high school career in a number of things, including some other sports, and focused at Mississippi State on track and field, and she's leading here at the NCAAs with 2 laps to go.
Nilsson making a move, and she charges by on the outside. With 2 to go, it is Nilsson opening it up over McWilliams. Can McWilliams answer, or is she confident that Nilsson's not going to be able to maintain this pace for a quarter mile?
It looks like Nielsen's day here. She's pulling away strongly. Both women ran 4:38 in their trials. 4 minutes and 38 seconds for the mile. Coming back here with another one in less than 24 hours. Really pulling away.
It is a 60-yard lead between the top 2 and the pack. Here's the bell lap. It's a 15-yard lead for Nilsson, who's continuing the turnover, showing no signs of fatigue here. McWilliams is losing distance on her. Nilsson looks over the shoulder. She's got a gaping lead. It's 25 yards.
Training at Northern Arizona up at 7,000 feet of elevation. Looks like it has appealed to Johanna Nilsson from Sweden and Northern Arizona.
Nilsson looking very strong, and she'll win the 2003 indoor for women's 32:49. Nilsson runs a season best by 6 seconds, winning this race by 4 over McWilliams. Nilsson's time is just 0.6 of a second off the building record set by the ageless Regina Jacobs 13 months ago. Worth of Arkansas is 3rd. 9 events into the 16-event women's competition. Florida's ahead of the pack. Stanford and LSU are tied for 2nd. Indiana and North Carolina tied for 4th. South Carolina is alone in 6th place.
One of the great ways to score points at the Women's NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships is to take the shot putters and discus throwers and teach them this event, the women's 20-pound hammer throw. And get that weight throw out there. And that is exactly what senior Erin Gilbraith did. 72 feet, 3 3/4 of an inch. 5 of the top 6 scorers were Lady Gators. 27 points out of the 44 that they scored overall in team competition. came from this event, the women's weight throw. Congratulations to Mouse Holloway and his team. LSU's Nicole Toney, the defending indoor champion in the women's triple jump, got out over 45 feet for her victory last year. And on the second jump in the prelims, she soared 45 feet 2 1/4 inches to move her into first place. But she was concerned about Elva Goldborn of Auburn, who had already won the women's long jump and is a superb triple jumper herself. And in the first jump in the prelims for her, Goldborn soared 45 feet 2 1/2 inches to take the lead. She had one other jump and then passed her last 4 attempts. She still had the women's 60 left to do. It was Goldborn winning her second title. Nicole Toney wound up second in the women's triple jump. The women's pole vault was exciting. This woman made National Honor Society in high school. And Lacey Jansen is an even better pole vaulter than that. She has the Florida State high school record at 13 feet plus, and she had 14 feet as a freshman, and she has soared over the bar at 14 feet 7 1/4 inches to take the lead. And this is Jansen trying for a new NCAA record of 14 feet 10 3/4 inches. Good attempt, but she'll have to wait for another day. Lacey Jansen from Florida State University makes head coach Terry Long proud. Mickey Holliday from Oregon wound up in second.
The Arkansas men hope to raise their lead. Chris Mulvaney goes to the line for the men's mile when we return.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, come on. Catch the ball before you run with it. Let's Basketball 101. Basketball 101.
Touch somebody. Touch somebody now.
Oh, what are you doing? There you go. Just like we drew it up. Tangled up with Roar.
Stay in the lane. Stay in the lane.
Body on somebody.
Knock him down. Get out of the crease. No, just hit somebody. Go, Danny, go.
It's a disgrace. They ought to be ashamed of themselves.
That's what I'm talking about.
If it didn't have so much style, it'd be just like any other midsize car. Get a 2003 Saturn L Series Ion or View at 0% APR financing for 5 years. For restrictions, see your retailer.
Introducing the Cinemeal deal. Any large Pizza Hut pizza, America's favorite, with up to 3 toppings, just $11.99. Plus a generous order of our new freshly baked cinnamon sticks absolutely free. Spoil your family, not your budget. The $11.99 Cinemeal deal at Pizza Hut.
It's a world of untouched beaches and sun-drenched tranquility. But this March 13th, that will all change. Girls Gone Wild Spring Break live and uncensored. Anything can happen when Girls Gone Wild hits the world's hottest spring break destinations. Join our celebrity judges in crowning the first Miss Girls Gone Wild and plan to be surprised. Don't miss the hottest spring break live TV event ever. Order Girls Gone Wild Spring Break live and uncensored. Thursday, March 13th, 10 p.m. live on in-demand pay-per-view. Contains nudity and sexual situations. Parental discretion is strongly advised.
The Hyundai Elantra, a comparison. More standard features than Honda Civic LX, like front side impact airbags. All for over $2,400 less than the Civic LX. And only the Elantra is protected by America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. Looks like we have a winner. Test drive the Hyundai Elantra, nicely equipped for just $11,524 at your Hyundai dealer. Gas prices are high, Hyundai prices are low. Get a 2003 Elantra for just $11,524.
Welcome back to the Randall Tyson Track Center in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The men's mile run. The NCAA meet record has stood for 8 years. This is a very competitive field.
Look, you got to pull for Kurt Michaelis from Youngstown State, that track powerhouse out there in the Midwest. I mean, I hope he has a great race. The pressure, however, is not on him. It's on this man. That is Chris Mulvaney. And they're looking for big points here from him. And he had a very fine 4:05 mile, and he ran comfortably and took things over in his heat. There he's Ryan Hayden from Villanova. Coach Marcus O'Sullivan building that program back up significantly. And he is just a junior, is Ryan Hayden.
Kentucky has a couple of runners in this event. Hunter Spencer and David Freeman.
Coach Doug Weber there has built that program up very quickly and done a great job in Kentucky with a host of good distance runners. We got a couple of 4-minute milers in the race here. Rob Myers, a senior from Ohio State, run 3:58 indoors, and Luke Watson from Notre Dame, another senior, 3:57 is in this race too.
Nate Robeson of Brigham Young breaks to the front with Chris Mulvaney of Arkansas making sure he is clear of traffic, and Hayden is comfortable in third place right now. With hit number 9, Joel Atwater, wearing all purple, is from Weber State, and then David Freeman, one of the Kentucky runners, right behind him.
The pace jack's solid, not particularly fast. I would guess 61 seconds. Looks like it's even slowing down a little bit here to me. 61, 62, 408 mile pace. That's slow. These guys are setting it up for it to be a kicker's race here.
Again, it is Robeson with Mulvaney, and then Hayden Atwater from Weber State. John Jefferson of Indiana has moved into 5th, and then Freeman 6th.
61.3 seconds for the first 440 yards of this mile run indoors here, and they're just kind of loping along. You can see the Indian file aspects of things. Pace is comfortable, and it's going to turn into a big kick here with anywhere from 1 to 3 laps to go.
They are letting Robeson run the pace. Mulvaney very comfortable outside of him. 5 laps to go in the men's mile, and from the start it has been Nate Robeson of Brigham Young setting the tactical pace with Chris Mulvaney of Arkansas on his shoulder.
They'll be coming up to the 880-yard mark when they sweep around after this turn in a straightaway. 61.3 was the pace, 61.3 seconds for first 440 yards, and you can tell everybody is in this. All of these athletes ran in their heat between 4 minutes and 5 seconds, 4 minutes 7 seconds to qualify for the final. 2:07.6. The pace has definitely slowed down. It is turning tactical. You're going to see a barn-burning finish here coming up, and things are beginning to move right now. Controlling the pace out there is Mulvaney, in a sense, running out on the shoulder of the leader, he must feel he's confident of his sprint finish. Let's see what happens.
Neffy Tyler of Utah is making his move, and he comes up alongside Mulvaney. Now Tyler's going to push it. Atwater of Weber State is up to 3rd. Mulvaney puts a little gas into it, and he goes back to the lead. Tightly bunched pack here.
Very tactical race. This is really interesting. Everybody wondering who's got the speed. How good do I feel? What should I begin to move now? Should I wait on my kick? Have I got more speed, do I think, than anybody else in the race? Everybody thinking these thoughts as they come up to 3/4 of a mile.
It is Mulvaney with Atwater. Tyler charging on the outside. He's going to make his move now. Hunter Spencer of Kentucky is trading elbows. Tyler is stretching it out. Mulvaney looks very strong.
Running the race, Mulvaney is as though he feels he can outkick everybody with a lap and a half to go. 3 minutes, 10 seconds, kind of slow tactical stuff here. They're going to burn this last 440 yards here. Watch this last lap, folks. Don't go away. Mulvaney in the lead.
Mulvaney, Spencer from Kentucky coming up on the outside, and then Hayden in 3rd. And now it's off to the races. Mulvaney kicks it into high gear. He's got an 8-yard lead.
Hayden in 2nd. Hunter Spencer in 3rd, and he's putting distance behind him. A man from England running here in college at Arkansas, just a junior.
Mulvaney blasting around the final turn. A late run from Notre Dame's Luke Watson towards 2nd. It is Mulvaney, Watson, and a photo finish along with Indiana's John Jefferson, who came tearing up on the outside. 4:05.70 is Mulvaney's winning time.
A 56-second last 440 yards. Not surprising here after the first tactical kind of slow look at each other type race that everybody did here. And, you know, the guy up in the lead who's kind of controlling things like that often feels when he's on the shoulder, making it difficult for anybody to go by, that he is the guy to beat in his own mind based on his speed. And he wanted a slow pace, and he engineered that. And there you're seeing all of the cheers going on from Arkansas.
Stacy Pates is with the winner.
Chris, exactly how much pressure were you carrying on your back for that entire mile?
Well, I knew the team needed me, but I put as much pressure on myself as the team does anyway. So
it was a tight pack pretty much the whole race. When did you know you had to kick?
Well, I was comfortable the whole way around. I just had to make sure I bossed the race. Didn't get caught on the inside. I knew it was mine.
Congratulations.
Chris Mulvaney picks up 10 important points for Arkansas with the win. Take note that neither Auburn nor Stanford nor Tennessee had a runner in this race.
Look at the move down the backstretch by Mulvaney. The tremendous speed that he felt he had. He's a 3:41 1,500-meter runner, and he just cruises to the finish line and leaves in his wake an entire classy field.
Mulvaney's margin of victory is more than 0.7 of a second over John Jefferson, who nosed out Luke Watson for second place.
Fats Waller had a great phrase in his Broadway play, Misbehavin'. One never knows, do one. And no one knew what was going to happen in the men's high jump. 12 men came in better performing this year than Jarek Holmes. They had either tied or surpassed what he had done. But he climbed 7 feet 3 3/4 of an inch. These high jumpers are amazing athletes. These guys can get their hips up to within 2 feet of a basketball rim. Jarek Holmes from Cal State Northridge, the NCAA men's high jump champion. To go from one form of explosiveness to another, the men's 16-pound shot put and junior Big Ten athlete of the indoor meet this year, this is Dan Taylor. And on his second throw in the prelims, he hurled that ball out 69 feet, 11 3/4 of an inch. The third longest throw in the world this year. The colors are the same, but the school is different. We go from Ohio State to Nebraska. And you don't want this guy coming in your room in a dorm and telling you to turn down your stereo. Carl Myerscough, all 6 feet 10 inches of himself, hurled the ball out over 70 feet to become the second longest thrower in the world this year and take the NCAA title. Myerscough and Taylor, number 2 and number 3 in the world.
Still to come at the NCAA Indoors for 2003. Fred Sharp of Auburn and Robbie Stevens shoulder to shoulder, for now at least. The men's 800-meter run is coming up next.
Introducing Intel Centrino mobile technology. The new wireless laptop technology designed to help you untangle, unburden, and unwire your life.
Steal down the middle, 1-on-1. Bang him. Did you see what I see? Because I saw a robbery. Does anybody want a Coke? Yeah, we get up, man. Hey, you crazy, man? That's Corinthian leather. And use the footstool to get to the refrigerator. I'm running all over y'all like a treadmill. Oh, ball. I am the greatest. I'm the greatest. Can't stop it. It's bad hot. I'm telling you. I'm just super nice in it, you know? That's all. When you nice, right? That's like a dish towel.
Come to Wendy's for a cold one. One of our delicious garden sensation salads, like our chicken BLT with marinated chicken, fresh greens, and grape tomatoes. Made fresh all day, every day, so you can take it wherever you go. The garden sensation salads from Wendy's. It's better here. And our pickup window is open till midnight or later, so you can eat great, even late.
I have to focus. Gather everything I've learned. All my successes, all my sacrifices, all my pain, and concentrate that energy into one moment. That's a moment I'll use every single day of my life. There are 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
Let's go round the horn, baby. Max is in reform. Next topic. Sports writers, learn your lesson. What is the best story here?
or you'll be gone. See you later. He'll shut you down. Say bye-bye. That's around the horn. Weekdays at 5.
Around the Horn with Max Kellerman, weekdays at 5 on ESPN.
Yeah.
The women's 800-meter run on the track now.
There you see the NCAA record set by Hazel Clark back 4 years ago. Now running on the international scene. She made our U.S. Olympic team in Sydney.
Very impressive field here. Marion Burnett of LSU is one to watch.
All of these women, Jack, ran between 2 minutes 4 and 2 minutes 5 seconds here. And there you see Marion Burnett, who is the defending NCAA champion at this event from last year. And she was the fastest qualifier as well. And there you see Tiffany Burgess. She is going to be in lane 3. Alice Schmidt was 3rd last year and hopes to improve on that for this year. Big points here at stake by Burnett, trying to come through here. While we're talking about points, 8 athletes in the final, all 8 will score. The way the scoring works is 10 for first, 8 for second, 6 for third, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They will run 2 turns in the stagger, and then they can break to the inside.
It's a quick first pace. Watching the leg turnover in the back stretch. They're moving out nicely here so far. Let's see if it settles down as they come around. Still a very strong, solid pace here in the first lap.
Burnett, who leads on the inside, seemed to take a hop step on the back stretch, but she has found her stride. And now is Lena Nielsen coming up on the outside. Nicole Cook pushes to the front just behind Marion Burnett.
Nielsen trying to stay out of traffic there, Jack. See her slide up on the inside. She was about to get boxed by 4 or 5 people, made a quick move, and she is right up with the leaders now.
These elite 800-meter runners seem to know each other pretty well, and there are some familiar bumps and great rivalries in this finalist pack.
Coming up to the 400-meter mark, and it is Burnett trying to run the best, in her opinion, from control. She is at 60 seconds, 60.9 seconds, solid pace. Nielsen in good shape. Nielsen's got good stamina and a strong 4:34 mile this year. She could be very tough over the last lap. Lena Nielsen from Sweden and running for UCLA on the inside.
So it is Nielsen and Burnett shoulder to shoulder, now opening up about 6 yards on Nicole Cook of Tennessee.
You know what she's doing? Watch, look how Nielsen is running on the inside lane, and she's making Burnett run right on her shoulder, running an extra 2 laps, 2 steps perhaps for each lap, with 1 lap to go, Jack. But she should either get behind her or get in front of her. Burnett is running much further in the course of this race.
Now Burnett puts on a little bit extra speed, tries to get around her, and does. Nielsen attempting, and she almost got caught up in Burnett's heels as Burnett made her move back to the inside, as is her right. Here comes Nicole Cook with a leg kick. Nielsen trying to go around the outside of Burnett. Nielsen hits the jets and goes right by. Here comes Nicole Cook. It'll be Nielsen, Cook, and Burnett. The winning time, 2:04.29.
And Alice Schmidt gets up for 3rd place. What a battle that was down the home stretch.
And then corrected to 2:05.13 officially for Lena Nielsen of UCLA.
Let me correct myself. Burnett was 3rd. Schmidt winds up 4th. But what a battle down that home stretch. 2 minutes 5 and 13 100ths of a second is the official winning time. 6 100ths of a second behind. Burnett is dying right here. You can see the expression on her face. She's tying up, and Nielsen swings wide, but Cook's got no place to go. She's in a really difficult position now. She's got something left, and boy, I'll tell you, you youngsters at home, you lean at the tape and run straight through. Nielsen almost lost that race by raising her arm too soon.
Official results of the women's 800, Lena Nielsen of UCLA over Nicole Cook, with Marion Burnett of LSU in 3rd. Now the men are on the track for the 800-meter run.
Patrick Aduimana world champion athlete, Olympian extraordinaire, has the NCAA record in his days at Arizona. There you see a very solid field. This guy is really an interesting person. Auburn doing well in the team title hunt, and he qualified at 148, better known as a 400-meter and hurdler at that distance. He should be somebody to be reckoned with if it's a slow pace. Robbie Stevens run very well for Arkansas. They're in the hunt, of course, for team points. Mulvaney did it in the mile. Can he do it here at the 800? Odekili Lakote from Botswana and South Carolina is a two-time outdoor NCAA champion and a world championship competitor for his country, co-captain of his team, honor roll. The man's the man. Let's see what he does here.
He is the defending champion in this event. Here you see Arkansas leading Nebraska by 3 points in the team standings. It's a clean start 4 times around, and Lakote leaning into it off the turn.
A huge back straightaway sprint for the lead. I couldn't believe it. I don't think I've ever seen indoors anybody run harder in an 800-meter race. Lakote wanted the lead and got it, and Sharp was battling him for it and decided to give up the ghost. 24.6 seconds. Unheard of time for an 800-meter. This is incredible pace, everybody.
Lakote with Big 12 champion Joseph Lee on his shoulder, and then in all purple, it is Jackson Langat of Texas Christian in third.
Langat in the all blue running for Texas Christian. He's from Kenya originally and moving up. Wow, this is a fast pace. Here they come up to the first 400 meters indoors, 51.6 seconds. I mean, this is unbelievable stuff.
Lakote, Lee, and Langat still 1, 2, and 3, and they are 3 abreast down the back stretch.
Look at this battle going on. Sharp trying to hold on in 4th place. Robbie Stevens, who usually has a kick in the red and white for Arkansas, is back right now in 6th place. Nate Brannon from University of Michigan moving up with 1 lap to go, 1:19.
Bell lap here. Lakote, Langat trying to press him.
A phenomenal race. Langat trying to go by. Lakote holding him off. Here comes Brannon.
Brannon a late charge from Michigan on the outside. Brannon coming all the way around the outside. Lakote trying to hang on. Brannon, Nate Brannon, the Michigan sophomore, with Sharp coming up second. And from Penn, Sam Burley, I believe, gets third. A tremendous race with the favorites going out super fast. And those who are hanging on whipped around at the end.
You know, the body responds when you go out too hard. Somebody, as I said in an earlier race, does hand you a piano, and it gets ugly when you die. Brannon, the winner, 147.79 unofficially. Fred Sharp, watch out for dangerous guys moving up. I think you track guys out there, whatever you think your distance is on the track, go 1 higher and it makes a difference. Sam Burley on the outside in the maroon and black. Coming up, the Wyoming Cowboy at the University of Pennsylvania gets up for 3rd place. Fred Sharp winds 2nd, and Nate Brannon with the stamina of a sub-4-minute mile. Look at the other guys who had the lead tie up. When you go out too hard, you die, folks. You got to have pace here. That pace, I mean, it made for an awesome race, Jack. But my goodness gracious.
Nate Brannon picked his spot, and Stacy Pates is on the spot.
Such an incredible fast pace. Was the opportunity presenting itself for you to make a kick, or was that your plan all along?
I really didn't have a plan coming into this. I didn't really know what to expect. I just wanted to get out fast and hold on, and really top 3 was what I was shooting for. To come out with the win is more than what I wanted.
And also to do that with a defending champion on the line with you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A celebration for the maize in blue. Nate Brannon wins in 147.79 with Sharp second, Burley third. And by the way, Langat, Lakote, and Stevens ended up finishing 6, 7, and 8 after pressing the pace.
After a queasy start for the team title by Arkansas, things kept coming together, and they wanted to get points and the men's triple jump. And senior Richard Smith was trying to supply them as they had 2 athletes in the final round of 8. This is Giannis Udme, the junior from Estonia, coming down the runway. Smith would wind up in 7th and collect 2 points, and Udme would get 4 more for Coach John McDonald. Arik Wilson from Indiana, on his second jump in the finals, got out 55 feet 9 inches. And he wound up in second place. The day would belong to Alan Sims from Southern California. And the Trojan, on the 5th of his 6 jumps of the day, soared 56 feet, 7.5 inches for the victory. These guys and their 3 steps can cover the distance of 3 Lincoln Town cars back to back to back. Congratulations to the triple jumpers.
If you hear jets warming up in the distance, it's the athletes coming down to the track. The 400s are coming up next at the NCAA Indoors for 2003.
When you serve billions of farm-fresh eggs and billions of cups of coffee made with some of the world's finest beans and billions of biscuits made with real buttermilk.
Egg McMuffin, hash brown, and a large coffee, right?
Right. You're bound to have billions of regulars.
You rely on shampoos to care for your hair. But what about dandruff? Head & Shoulders Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. The only shampoo with micro ZPT. It works directly on your scalp to help stop dandruff where it starts. So your scalp is flake-free. And your hair looks and feels beautiful. Head & Shoulders Shampoo for hair that is beautiful and flake-free.
Morning. Before we start, if everyone could move page 15 2 pages up in the deck. And if your page 5 is fuzzy, just pass it down.
Unprofessional documents.
Page 8.
Lead to messy meetings.
Just remove it.
But at Staples, you'll get professional quality copying and printing. Our certified associates and 3-step quality process make sure your job is done right.
And this goes up.
Quality copying and printing. Staples. That was easy.
You know, we're never in the same place at the same time. No, not really. So we need a plan that allows us to talk, you know, as much as we want, all the time, whenever we want. And then no extra charge.
With Singular's Family Talk plan, call each other for free with unlimited mobile-to-mobile calling. Get 5,000 night and weekend minutes to share, up to 3 additional lines, and up to 4 free phones.
We call it the Conley Brothers. What's up? What's up? What's up plan?
Come in and find out how Singular fits you best.
Hey, America, you think your family's funny? We found 8 families who believe their lives are funny enough to be a sitcom. From sisters with hot flashes to hot twin sisters, ex-punk rockers to garage banders, Mr. Mom to Manic Mom, and coupon clippers to hillbillies. The competition is fierce in this crazy family feud, but only one household will win the chance to fly to Hollywood and star in their very own sitcom. My Life is a Sitcom, tonight at 8, 7 Central on ABC Family Channel.
In Fayetteville at the 2003 NCAA Indoors, John McDonnell's men from Arkansas and Pat Henry's women from LSU both seem to be en route to titles.
And just moments ago in the women's 400 meters, there's 3 heats with 3 athletes in each. And it's on a time basis. Lashinda Demas set the standard for the others to try and get, as she ran 51.79 seconds, the fastest time by an American woman in America this year.
So when they come out of the blocks, Mickey Barber and the 2 others in this section of the final know they not only have to win the race, they have to win a race against time and put up a sensational mark.
It is absolutely true, Jack, that you want to be in the 3rd heat of the 3 anytime you're going in a meet like this. You know what you have to do, and you're not really flying blind. As you look at Demetria Washington, 5 feet 10 inches tall, her teammate Mickey Barber only 5'2", and they're up against the giant killer. This woman, Sonia Richards, just the outstanding freshman, is all she is a freshman at the University of Texas rather. That is Bev Kearney's team, and I'm sure Kearney is going to watch closely what happens to Richards here. That is Richards in white on the outside in lane 6, and they will run and start the races from lanes 4, 5, and 6.
A clean start And even off the stagger, you can see Richards has run down that hill, and she is running away here.
Now look at Demetria Washington moving up on the inside. She's about parallel with her. The fight will be turning from the cones and heading for the corner right now. Look how even they are. Richards blazes to the front.
Barber tried to make a move and couldn't go with Richards. Now she has to go around Washington, who is a much bigger athlete. It's a long way around for Barber. Meanwhile, Richards is stretching it out. Barber stumbles, got tangled up with Washington and off her stride. Richards is going to be too far out in front.
Great power down the home stretch by Sanye Richards. She runs well at the closing in her races. A lot of weightlifting, she's told me, for this year.
But you saw the time flash quickly. It is not low enough to beat the 51.79.
Sanye Richards is going to wind up second.
So the South Carolina sophomore, Lashinda Demas, out of heat number 1, ends up winning the women's 400. Sanye Richards from heat 3, second, with Davy from heat 2, third. Now on the track, the second of 2 heats in the men's 400-meter dash final.
The secret, Jack, to success is doing the uncommon things, uncommonly well, and these guys can do that. They are brilliant runners. There's Sanjay Ayer, who has an Olympic gold medal from the 4x4 for his home country of Jamaica from the Olympic Games in Sydney, running for Auburn University. And there you see Kelly Willie, one of the truly blue chip athletes that came out of high school last year, a freshman at LSU, ran brilliantly and had the fastest time in the heats here of all the 400-meter runners.
You saw his time of 45.79. But these runners are competing not only against each other, but also against a time of 45.71 put up by Gary Kakaya of Tennessee in the first of these 2 final heats.
Kakaya's time was the fastest 400 meters run in the world this year. He's in college. One thing to keep in mind, first indoor meet ever run in America, the winning time for 400 meters really, 62 seconds. Let's see what these guys do.
They'll be toweling off by then. Jeremy Warner of Baylor is on the inside in green, but already the race is shaping up on the outside as Willie tries to close the gap, and there goes Sanjay Ayer. As they come off the turn, it is Ayer and now Willie forcing it forward. They are shoulder to shoulder with 200 meters to go.
21.3 seconds. Terrific 200-meter time. Right on pace. Fastest time in the world. Let's see if they get it.
Ayer leading Willie with Jonathan Fortenberry in third. Here comes Fortenberry on the outside. Ayer, Willie, and Fortenberry as they spread out in their sprint. It is Ayer with Fortenberry late. Ayer leads in. And it is Sanjay Ayer in a time of 45.98. Not fast enough to beat Gary Kakaya's first heat time.
So the young man who came over from South Africa to go to college here in the United States, Gary Kakaya, from fastest 400-meter time in the world. That's better than the World Championships that are being held almost simultaneously in Europe with this meet.
Gary Kakaya, you were third in this event last year. You came here this year and ran the world's fastest time. Was this vindication for you?
Yes, it's been an indication for me. Last weekend, I watched my team and my ex-teammate Justin Gatlin won the world champs. Then I made a promise to him that I gotta win the national championship. I'd like to thank my coach and my teammate that are here to support me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kakaya gets 10 points for Tennessee, blazing to the win in the men's 400 meters ahead of Hogan's and Ayer. There's more to come from the indoor championships. Stay with us.
Introducing the Cinemeal Deal. Any large Pizza Hut pizza, America's favorite, with up to 3 toppings, just $11.99. Plus a generous order of our new freshly baked cinnamon sticks absolutely free. Spoil your family, not your budget. The $11.99 Cinemeal Deal at Pizza Hut.
So, you want to open a checking account?
Yes, but I don't want to pay for it.
Right. And you want online banking?
Right, if it's free.
And unlimited online bill paying?
I don't want to have to pay for that either. No.
So you want total security protection on your check card, free?
Look, I just don't think I should have to pay for any of it.
Neither do we.
Free checking plus with direct deposit from Bank of America. Higher standards.
Think. Read. React. Struggle.
Succeed. Grow.
Every time we step on the floor, class is in session.
There are 360,000 NCAA student athletes.
And each one of us is getting 2 educations.
It's a world of untouched beaches and sun-drenched tranquility. But this March 13th, that will all change. Girls Gone Wild Spring Break live and uncensored. Anything can happen when Girls Gone Wild hits the world's hottest spring break destinations. Join our celebrity judges in crowning the first Miss Girls Gone Wild and plan to be surprised. Don't miss the hottest spring break live TV event ever. Order Girls Gone Wild Spring Break live and uncensored. Thursday, March 13th, 10 p.m. live on in-demand pay-per-view. Contains nudity and sexual situations. Parental discretion is strongly advised.
This is an escape beyond your expectations. This is a place to lose yourself without actually getting lost. This is the serenity of the backcountry with a really comfortable bed. Get away this spring to British Columbia, Canada. Wherever you are, you're never far from the opposite. Call 1-888-HELLO-BC for your free BC Escapes Guide. Visit Vancouver, Victoria, or Whistler from $289. Supernatural British Columbia, Canada.
At the NCAA indoors, the women's 3,000.
UNC's Charlene Flanagan held off Stanford's Laura Fleshman to win the 3,000 meters, and she collects congratulations from her mom, Cheryl Truargy, who was a former world best American athlete in the marathon of all things. She comes by her genes well.
Auburn's Elva Goldborn, one of the great stories of this meet, won the long jump, won the triple jump, and still has the 60 meters to go. She could be a 30-point scorer.
Jack, that's very difficult to get 30 points as a team in these NCAAs. Can she do it?
On the track, the athletes for the women's 60-meter dash final at the 2003 NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. This field is loaded.
Jack, we should look here at LSU in lane 1 and also Muna Lee in lane 5. Lolo Jones, big points, get a commanding lead. That's the goal here for Coach Pat Henry and his head coach Pat Henry and his charges here. There you're looking at Muna Lee. Wow, what an athlete. Keep this name in mind, folks. You may see her on the Olympic team. Very hard for a collegiate athlete to make the Olympic team. She may do it in the sprints for the United States in Athens. And there you look at Lolo Jones, a junior, and she already the winner of the hurdles. Great hurdlers have great speed, as we know, and she certainly is going to have a chance to show it here. There's Elva Goldborn. She'll be in lane 2. Keep an eye on her during the race if you can in blue.
Here we go, the women's 60-meter dash. Flag for the start, please.
On your marks.
Okay, slip up, center bar.
It took her to run all of 65 yards, 1 foot and 10 inch, which is 60 meters. Muna Lee covered it in 7.15 seconds in her heat. She is in the middle of the track in lane 4.
There are no false starts allowed in NCAA competition. The gun is up.
Set.
They're clean. It's Monique Tubbs of Jacksonville pressing it, but here comes Lee through the middle. Eyeballing it, I think Muna Lee might have leaned there, but it was a blanket finish. You could have tossed it over all of them. 7.17 for Muna Lee, as it now is official.
Jack, if Muna Lee was to win this, her best part of her race is in the second half, where she gets on track and really gets rolling. And there you see if you can pick it out in this angle, down the stretch. Does she lean first? I think easily, and she gets it. Elva Goulburn, Monique Tubbs, we'll have to see it. It's going to be Goulburn for second. And there you see her leaning at the tape, coming straight at you. Was Elva Goulburn.
Muna Lee, 2 times a winner. She's with Stacy.
Jack and Larry, she was just telling me she was not happy with their start. Muna, why?
It was just one of those days where I was so concerned about my race and nervous that I was trying too hard instead of just relaxing. So I'm just happy I won.
And 2 wins for you now. How much fun are you having?
Well, it's fun to a certain extent, but
it's hard work. Congratulations.
Thank you.
South Carolina 17.
Muna Lee's 10 points for the victory, and Lolo Jones's 3 points for 6th place give LSU the team title for the 2003 women's indoors. Down on the track, a very fleet field for the men's 60-meter dash final. Of the 8 men in the final field, there is only 11/100ths of a second separating them in their preliminary times. That is Julian Dunkley, senior from East Carolina.
And he ran very well in his heat to advance here to the final. And you see Trey Gardner, who came into this competition as the Texas record holder and also the fastest collegian in the country at 60 meters, having run 6.60 seconds.
On your marks.
Right to left as you look at them. Larry Griffin of
Here we go, men's 60 meters.
Jasmine of Florida.
Right for the start, please.
Brown, Dunkley, Gardner, Parker of Oregon, Frater of TCU, and Marty Scales of Middle Tennessee State.
At top speed towards the end of the race, these guys in 1 second are covering a distance of 12 yards. Translation, 36 feet.
The gun is up.
Set.
They're off cleanly. Exploding through the middle of the pack, it's Dunkley.
In a huge, huge race. What in a superb time. 6.54 seconds.
Very consistent, 1/100th of a second faster than his preliminary time.
Dunkley gets away well. It takes a while for him to get on track, but by 30 meters, he was flying and easily defeated a stellar field. I mean, we're talking by 2 feet or so, and with this level of competition, that is a terrific performance.
Before the start, when you looked to the left and the right of you and saw that kind of competition, how did you stay focused?
Well, I was rattled last year, so this year I said I was not going to be rattled by Pierre or Trey Gardner. And I know what the competition is like being here. So, you know, I just trying to not focus on them and just focus on the finish line.
Was this a personal best for you?
Yes, it is.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
A terrific 60-meter dash. Julian Dunkley from East Carolina edges Pierre Brown, who has run under 10 seconds for 100 meters in his career, gets second.
3 laps to go in the men's 3,000 meters. Boaz Chaboilo of Eastern Michigan has led, but now Alistair Craig of Arkansas and Blinko of Villanova goes with him, going past Daniel Lincoln. Arkansas, just to set the scene for you, has a chance to put away another NCAA title with big points here. Right now it's running first and third, which would be 16 team points. Craig looking very strong. Blinko has a kick.
Howdy.
McDonald looking on as the Razorbacks stretch it out. This could be the championship.
Blinko in second place. Lincoln holding on well for much needed points here in third, with coming up to 1 to go, Jack. Blinko can't match the searing pace of Craig. with 1 to go.
They hear and sense a championship. The crowd is on its feet in Fayetteville. Frank stretching it out. Glencoe can't answer. Lincoln wants to make it 1-2 for the Razorbacks.
The first mile passed in 4 minutes and 20 seconds, but they are searing this last 3/4 of a mile plus. It's Alistair Craig.
They're ready to hang a banner in Fayetteville. Number 1, says Craig. Glencoe second. Lincoln third. That's 16 points for Arkansas.
7 minutes 55 seconds translates to about 2 miles being run back-to-back in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. The last mile covered in about 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
John McDonald sees yet another Arkansas athlete win the run for the Rose. When we continue our coverage from Fayetteville, it's party time. We'll celebrate with the champions in the infield.
Well, you nice right That's like a dish towel.
Kush Jod Dujuscafasl Rich.
Veshmufu Ium Pulsiger Divamert.
Thanks for filling in.
Miss Verduvos.
LSU has won its 10th NCAA indoor women's title. South Carolina and Florida tie for second. North Carolina fourth. Texas without head coach Bev Kearney fifth. But Texas did win the 4x400 in an NCAA championships record time, the 6th fastest ever run. The Bayou Bengals are the champions. Stacey Pates is in the infield with the winners.
Coach, at what point during this meet did your team gain the most momentum?
Well, you know, we had a great day yesterday. We did the things that we had to do yesterday to put ourselves in a position here today. But the performances that we had today were just outstanding. We had a lot of personal records and a lot of people that did a little bit better than what we expected. That's what it takes.
Speak about performances. Lolo Jones in the 60 hurdles. That was huge. Talk about that.
It really was. I think that the race was big, but her heart is so big that, you know, she's one of those people that you can depend to do a great job.
Congratulations, Pat.
Appreciate it very much.
On the men's side, it's impossible to match John McDonald's depth at Arkansas. 52 points. The next nearest competitor, Auburn, has 28, and then it drops off pretty rapidly from there. 17 indoor NCAA titles now for McDonald at Arkansas.
Coach, team meets are not won and lost by one individual, but what concerns did you have after the distance medley relay?
Well, that was a big setback, and I know that kid would have been devastated if we lost the meet because of that. But I'm glad that we come back today the way we did.
Going into the 3,000, Auburn was absolutely on your heels. What did you tell these young men as they started to race?
I said, just go out and give it your best shot.
One of those guys that gave it his best shot and got the victory was Alistair Craig. Talk about the 3,000. Was it part of your strategy to keep the pace so you could get extra points for your team?
Oh, Daniel and I went out there. We knew we had it before the 3K started, and it was just a race to get the team title away and back here. So it was just fun. We went out there for ourselves, and yeah, so.
Well, it's time to hang another banner here at the Randall Tyson Center. Congratulations, Arkansas.
Arkansas and LSU will hang the banners. Arkansas's Alistair Craig, the 3,000 and 5,000 meter winner, and Auburn's Elva Goldborn, 28 points on 2 victories and a second place, the outstanding performers. For Stacy Pates and Larry Rawson, I'm Jack Edwards. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.